Assalamu alaikum and hello lovely ladies. I hope you like these gloves. Today's topic is ways not to act crazy in public. Now we've all seen that woman that cannot handle herself. She cannot handle her emotions. She cannot handle how she reacts to situations and her response mechanism. It's all fried, it's all cooked up. She has no idea what she's doing and she has no idea how to carry herself in public. We've all maybe seen this woman, we've maybe even been this woman. I am not shaming anybody. I understand that sometimes someone somewhere outdoors is gonna piss you the fluff off. Okay, this happens, it's natural, it's normal, and all of us have a temper, a threshold, a rage that sometimes comes out at the wrong time. However, we need to reel back and ask ourselves, does this action that has been perpetrated against me or has happened to me, does it warrant me going off my head? And does it warrant me going crazy? And how you react to it is very important, because you could really damage your reputation and look in a way that is very off-putting, offensive, and repulsive. Number one, screaming or talking really loudly for no reason. Now, is the person you're talking to deaf? Still, I wouldn't scream. There's a way of communicating. Either write it down. Are you angry at them? Are they far away? God forbid, do not scream at someone that's far away from you. Okay? You need to walk up to them or gesture to them to come to you before you say something. You do not scream at them, please. In the malls, in the supermarkets, at weddings, at parties, at functions. Do not scream to people. If you want them, walk up to them. If you want them, gesture to call them to yourself. Do not scream, because it makes you look uncouth. It makes you look a bit savage and not in a nice way. It makes you look low class. It makes you look
like a fisherwoman.
Number two, being obnoxious on your phone, talking really loudly to a person on the line. Listen, even if you're not fighting with them, or even if you're having a really nice, fun, civil conversation, nobody wants to know what you're doing or what you're saying. And if they do, that's their problem. But honestly, it is very rude to let people know that you're on a call and by screaming and shouting on the phone. Nobody wants to hear that conversation. It is some conversation happening with another person. Speaking loudly on the phone and screaming on the phone is going to let other people in on your business, and that is not something that you want to do. It's also going to come across as rude, offensive, and like you don't value the privacy of the person that you are talking to. Think about it. Number three, holding up the plain toilet booth, the phone booth. I don't know if we use phone booths anymore, but anywhere that you're waiting in queue. You're maybe taking up a lot of time digging in your bag, maybe taking up a lot of time screaming on the phone or talking on the phone. Maybe you're taking up a lot of time, just doing your own thing, but people are waiting, and it's rude to obviously let them wait in a public setting, and other people also have a right to public amenities just as much as you do. So it's only polite that you hurry up what you're doing and then move along the line. So I was with someone in a public setting. It was either a plane or a public bus or something of that nature, or it must have been a plane. And this person wouldn't keep quiet and kept speaking loudly, and that in effect holding up the plane, because you've got to switch off your cellular devices when you are on a plane. Number three, another way to not act crazy in public is when you're in a public setting and there are seats. Okay, so imagine you're in a huge venue and there are seats. You need to know without a shadow of a doubt where you are going. Where is your seat? Is your seat reserved? Do you have one reserved for you that you should actually walk through a bunch of people to get to a seat if it's really not meant to be yours? Because what you're going to do is really look crazy in that event. What happens is many people in the cinema, they go to the wrong seat, disturb an entire row of people to move their legs, move their bags, move their Coke, move their popcorn, whatever. And the people above them in that row who are now having to be blocked by this person walking past. That is very inconsiderate, because you're not only cutting through a whole row of people, making them move all their stuff, but you're also blocking the view of a lot of people behind them. And that is something very obnoxious. So please read your ticket carefully, read the seats carefully before you go, whether it's on a plane, and it's the same thing, whether it's at a huge public event and you walk through a huge row of people in front of everybody, only to be told there's no seat there, go back. and you end up looking really, really silly and really like you don't know what you're doing, and it's not a good look. So please read your tickets carefully. Make sure you read the aisle numbers carefully as well, so that you know exactly where you're going. You don't disturb people unnecessarily and cause a commotion for nothing. No one likes a woman that causes chaos in that regard, and it just looks unclassy. It looks like you're a mess. It looks like you don't know what you're doing or where you're going in life in general, and you're just causing a huge mess and inconveniencing a lot of people on the way. Number 4, another way to not look crazy in public is how you move your body, how you wear this shell of yours. This body is a shell, it is a vehicle. We wear it like clothing. It dresses our soul. How you move in this body, how you move in this shell, says a lot about you and your attitude, your energy, and how you feel about yourself and the world. A lot of people walk in a very odd manner. Their limbs are flying everywhere. Their hands are literally flying everywhere. Their arms are flying everywhere. Their back is hunched or really hunched forward and really, awkwardly back if they got their hands behind their back. I don't know why you put your hands behind your back anyway. It's not polite. The thing is, a lot of people walk in this way and it looks very haphazard. It looks very awkward. It looks very chaotic in movement. It doesn't look nice to the eyes. It's not soothing to the eyes. It looks like this person is just really haphazard. Okay, number 5 in how not to look crazy is a lot to do with doing things loudly. When you're in public, you don't want to draw the wrong type of attention to yourself, okay? If you're looking beautiful, if you're giving a speech, if you're talking in front of an audience, great. Those are the ways you get people's attention, and you need to, and that is totally legit. The wrong way to get people's attention is by laughing loudly, like really loudly, obnoxiously. Number 2, it's by chewing loudly. This goes back to dining etiquette. Okay, chewing loudly is a no-no in any circumstance. Never ever do this. Pay attention to yourself and how you appear at all times. It is really offensive to hear another person chewing, and I honestly can't think of a worse thing. The other thing is yawning loudly. I just find this hilarious and also a bit gross and ill-mannered. The other thing is that you've got to be mindful of is people sneezing loudly. Now I know that sneezes are involuntary, and sometimes you just can't feel one coming and it just hits you. And the best thing to do is honestly grip your elbow into your face and sneeze into your elbow. Try and snuffle out or muffle out the sound if you are a loud sneezer. If you are not such a loud sneezer, that's fine, but try and have some Kleenex on hand, because you don't want to be spluttering a whole lot of your bacteria and saliva everywhere in the atmosphere and have people showered in it. I think that is gross. And of course the sound effects that come with it, it's you could crack windows with that, so just be careful. Don't sneeze in your hands directly, because you're going to be sneezing all of your germs and bacteria into your hands, and then everything you touch after that is going to be sullied and dirty. So what you want to do is, as I said, sneeze into the crook of your elbow or sneeze into a Kleenex. We don't use handkerchiefs anymore. That is something that has died out. I mean, when I was a kid at school, we used to actually use hankies.
Gone are those days. That was such a cute thing.
Try and turn away from people if you are sneezing in a group, and just be mindful of other people. It's very simple. The other thing is blowing your nose loudly. All of us need to clean our nose. However, you don't do it in public and blow like you're a foghorn. Blow discreetly, or leave the room, go to the ladies' room and blow there. Blow into a oh my god, this is actually a thing that needs to be mentioned. How gross. You need to blow into a Kleenex, not into a sink. Firstly, it is disgusting. Secondly, you might clog the sink. Thirdly, remnants of your snot. Remnants of your snot can honestly splatter all over the sink and be found inside the sink. Phlegm is the same. And again, going back to fine dining, cutlery noises. This is something that I will reserve for when we actually do the fine dining course. But the banging and clunking and clanking and clattering noise and clamoring noise of cutlery on dishes is something that is ill-mannered and should stop. Also, another thing that you should avoid doing in public is when you're going through your handbag, avoid all those rummaging noises. I know it's something funny because nowadays, women have massive handbags and purses. So we have massive bags, and honestly, there's so much in there, everything but the kitchen sink. So if people are actually going through their bags, they're making this huge rustling noise That's as though all the hay in the barn is being overturned. If you're looking for something that you absolutely cannot find and you need it now and now, like a phone that's been buried under a ton of stuff, go to the bathroom, excuse yourself, and rummage the hell out of it there. Don't do it in front of people because you look like you're disorganized and it looks noisy and it looks chaotic. Number 6, and I know that it's hard sometimes when you go out to eat, and of course you should never do this on a date, and that is carrying a doggy bag, okay? When you're on a date, don't even ask for a doggy bag. Kindly tell the waiter to give it to someone in need. Do not ask for a takeout, do not ask for a takeaway, and do not carry a doggy bag. However, on a normal circumstance, if it's just you going out by yourself for lunch, or you talking to other people, do ask for a doggy bag, but of course call it something else. Call it like, can I have it in a takeaway bag, please? Can I have it to go? Can I have it packed, please? Can I have it to carry? Now, if you're going to take that away, find somewhere to leave it as soon as possible. Go to your car and just leave it there and continue your shopping. Do not carry this doggy bag around the entire mall with you, because it honestly looks very strange. The other thing that makes you look crazy is striking up weird and awkward conversations and, trying to be funny in a queue of people or in a public environment where there's a lot of people in close proximity to each other, and they really don't have a choice but to be there stuck with you, whether it's in a bank queue, a plane queue, whatever it is. It's not really becoming of a woman or of a man even to make loud and obnoxious jokes and try and make everybody laugh and try to be funny and try to be the clown or try to bring attention to themselves. Honestly, it's the wrong type of attention. Just be quiet, be in the queue and get your stuff done. You don't have to make a scene of every place that you go where there's a whole lot of people, because it's honestly not the best kind of attention that you want to draw to yourself. What you're doing is you're actually forcing your jokes on them because they have nowhere to run. They cannot leave that area, they cannot leave that queue. They've been waiting for a long time. Kind of oppressing them by, forcing your dry jokes on them, or your obnoxious presence or laughter or packet noises or chewing noises or loud coughing and loud sneezing noises, or all of this. So you're oppressing them. If you're stuck with them, honestly, try to be as low-key as possible. Nobody wants to be there, and certainly nobody wants to be with you if you're obnoxious. And you're honestly making the experience a whole lot harder for them, and they really then just cannot wait to get the hell out of there. Number 9, how not to act crazy in public. I was at a supermarket not so long ago, and this husband was telling his wife off as they were walking through the store doing their shopping. Now, firstly, it was heartbreaking to hear. I did not want to hear this, but I was forced to hear it because they were in a public place. So it causes unfair and, toxic environment for everyone. But like, this man was literally shouting at his wife, telling her, I tell you this all the time, but you just don't listen. And they were really going for it. And she, poor thing, was walking by, and then she saw me look at her like, because I had a shock. And then she looked at me and she just smiled, like a really sad smile, like,
I wish I could just shut him up with a sucker punch.
It's really not a nice thing to scream at your spouse when you're in public, or to tell them off, or to berate them, or to humiliate them, or to put them down in any way, shape, or form in public. I mean, that is like one of the worst things you could ever do to your beloved. And to treat them that way just shows people that they should not have anything to do with you, and they should not deal with you, whether it's in business or personal life, because you have no respect for the people that are close to you. The other thing is, and this is where I honestly have the most trouble, it's when your kids misbehave in public and you want to absolutely go ape shit. I'm all about keeping a dignified manner, but I also have, a side of me that will not tolerate rubbish behavior or disrespect. I can sometimes clench my teeth and make eyes at my kids. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Or speaking a really low of like, we will not have this, okay? So that sometimes works, but it doesn't work all the time. Now, if you are a mom and if you have kids and they really test your patience in public, don't try and pinch them in public, because all they'll do is scream and cry, and then they'll even say, you pinched me. Yes, this was tried and tested. It's not the way to go. It looks terrible, it sounds terrible, it's not the way to treat your kids either. Yes, I know they're driving you crazy, but like, take them into the cold room, way back into the store, may I have a word with them. Take them into an empty aisle in the shopping space and tell them, listen, this is not on. And tell them, if you don't stop, you're going to be grounded, or tell them, give them some consequence or repercussion. But you have to be having a history with them of keeping these threats. If you just be like, when we go home, you're not watching any TV. And if you go home and you have a history of always letting them get their way, they're not going to listen to you. You need to get your stuff together and make sure that you keep the boundaries that you set with your children, or they will think that you're absolutely a clown. And they will not listen to you, and they will not pay heed to whatever you say, and they will absolutely not be afraid of your threats in public, and they will continue to misbehave and embarrass you. So don't double that embarrassment by embarrassing yourself. In the way you respond to your children is so important. Okay, the other thing is about personal hygiene and grooming in public. A lot of people, women, men, are guilty of this. You find some women plucking their chin hairs in public, picking their nose in public. You find some men shaving with their mobile shaver in public. You find people using a toothpick and sucking their teeth in public. Okay, that sound is really obnoxious and disgusting and low class. If you have any self-respect, you will go into the bathroom and you will clean up whatever is jammed in your teeth. You will not try and vacuum suck it like a hoover out of your teeth and the gaps in your teeth. The other thing that people do, yes, I know, they take a hairpin and they clean their ears. Or they take, I've seen people do all sorts of things. Okay, some people take a car key and they screw it into their ears like they're starting the engine in their brain or something. It's gross, and I don't even know where they wipe it because they don't have a Kleenex in their hand. I don't even know or care what they do with it, but it's just disgusting, and you don't want to do something like this in public. The other thing that people do in public is floss their teeth. Yes, I know. The other thing is they'll take out their false teeth and clean it in front of you. Having and wearing dentures must be very tricky and very uncomfortable, especially when you get pieces and particles of food lodged in it. If you do wear dentures, please do not clean them after your lunch in front of people at the table. Please excuse yourself. Please go to the restroom and clean it there. The other thing, not to look crazy in public, is adjusting and fixing your hair and clothes in public. Look, sometimes things do go out of place. Sometimes I even do it on screen while I'm recording. I adjust a few things, I fix a few things. It's okay to do those minor, those minor fixtures. However, if you have like a major overhaul to do, like take off something underneath or an undergarment, or you're wearing layers and you're uncomfortable and you want to undress, or you want to fix some, really intricate bits on your clothing, excuse yourself. It doesn't take long. Number two, if your hair is all over the place, you should not start brushing it in front of people in public. Go to the restroom, that's what it's there for, and go and do it in there. Another way that some girls, and yes, this is directed at girls, look really crazy in public is they start acting like one of the guys, and they start fist pumping and chest thumping each other. Now, if you haven't noticed, men and women are built differently. You, my dear, have breasts. You cannot go and chest thump a guy.
What are you doing?
That is something guys do on the basketball court or out in rugby or whatever it is when they win something. That is not something that a girl does with a guy ever. Now, when I was a stupid teenager, and yes, I was a very silly teenager, I used to do all this. Not the chest thumping though. I used to high five people and I used to fist pump and do all that, but honestly, it's not something that I would recommend any woman do, because firstly, you're not supposed to be touching men. Secondly, it's just a matter of you look crazy. You look like one of the boys. You don't look like a girl. You don't look like a woman. You don't look like the prize cat. You don't look like someone who has respect. It just looks a bit out of place. That's just my opinion.